Where is the line between economic power and political influence? Between real production and financial bubbles? Today, we compare two nations whose destinies have been intertwined for over a century. Russia and the United States. Two opposites. Two philosophies of development. From grain fields to space stations. From oil rigs to Silicon Valley. Who's really stronger, and what does that even mean? The US economy is the largest in the world. Since the 1940s, it has been the engine of global growth. In 2024, its GDP stands at around $28 trillion, about 25% of global economic output. Russia lags behind in nominal terms, with a GDP of about $2 trillion. But using purchasing power parity, which adjusts for cost of living, the gap narrows. By PPP, Russia ranks as the fifth largest economy in the world, ahead of Germany, the UK, and France. But it's not just how much a country earns, it's how it earns it. The US economy is dominated by services and technology. Over 80% of its GDP comes from sectors like IT, finance, healthcare, and education. Russia, on the other hand, is still largely resource-based, with energy, metallurgy, defense, and agriculture at its core. Each model has its pros and cons. The US is flexible and innovative. Russia is less exposed to global market volatility, but also less diversified. Economies don't emerge in a vacuum. They're shaped by history. The United States was built as a capitalist society, where private initiative drove success. World War II, technological leadership, and geographic isolation made it the world's factory, and its bank. Russia is the successor of the planned Soviet system. Massive state-owned industries, central planning, a focus on military production. After the collapse of the USSR in 1991 came a chaotic transition, privatization, oligarchs, then stabilization fueled by oil and gas. In its current form, Russia has had only 30 years of market economy, and that's crucial to understand. Defense spending isn't just about tanks, it reflects strategic priorities. The US military budget in 2024 is a staggering $850 billion, more than the next 10 countries combined. This is a military with global reach, from Japan to Poland, Iraq to the Arctic. Russia, despite sanctions and isolation, has increased its defense budget to about $110 billion. The defense industry plays a major role in its economy, both for exports and national security. The key difference? The US relies on high-tech dominance. Russia focuses on mass production, resilience, and proximity to conflict zones. Two different armies. Two different economic foundations. Now let's talk about something less visible, but just as vital, food. The US remains a global agricultural leader, soy, corn, beef, dairy. It supports farmers with subsidies and insurance. Agricultural exports exceed $170 billion per year. Russia has quietly become a wheat superpower. In 2023, it exported nearly 60 million tons of wheat to over 50 countries. Add to that sunflowers, barley, potatoes, and you get a new kind of strategic resource. Russia emphasizes food security and agricultural sovereignty. And with vast land in Siberia and the south, the potential is far from exhausted. But the 21st century is not the century of oil. It's the century of intelligence, digital and human. The US is the epicenter of innovation. Google, Tesla, SpaceX, Nvidia, Amazon, not just brands, but the architecture of the future. Russia is behind, but not absent. Yandex, SpareTech, Kaspersky, Rosatom, these are real players. Strong in math, physics, and engineering, but faced with brain drain and sanctions, progress is harder. The government is pushing import substitution and local tech development. But global impact, like that of American tech giants, remains distant. The US financial system is the backbone of global trade. The dollar is the world's reserve currency. US Treasury bonds are trusted from Japan to Saudi Arabia. Russia lives in a different financial world. After 2022, it abandoned the dollar and euro in trade, turning to yuan, rupees, and dirhams. Despite sanctions, the ruble remained relatively stable, and inflation was kept under control. Russia's financial model is becoming less global, but more sovereign. Lower public debt, big gold reserves, and strict capital controls, it's a different approach. The US is a technological and financial superpower. Russia is a resource-rich, militarized giant with agricultural strength. The US economy is like an iPhone, smart, fast, powerful, but fragile when it breaks. Russia's economy is like a diesel tractor, simple, sturdy, and slow, but it keeps going, no matter what. So what matters more? Innovation, or resilience? Aircraft carriers, or wheat exports? The answer isn't in spreadsheets, it's in strategy. And in a multipolar world, perhaps both models will prove essential. Thanks for watching to the end. If you found this video informative, leave a like, subscribe, and share it. Tell us in the comments, which model do you believe in, tech-driven or resource-based?